A tearful Tim Paine resigned as Australia Test captain on Friday after being embroiled in a sexting scandal. His resignation comes 18 days before the start of the Ashes. The 36-year-old sent lewd messages to a female co-worker at Cricket Tasmania in 2017. The matter was reported in 2018 after the woman was charged with theft. Criminal charges against her are still pending. Paine says he was exonerated after a thorough probe by the Integrity Unit of Cricket Australia. That investigation and a subsequent HR probe reportedly found there was no breach of Cricket Australia's code of conduct given the consensual nature of the exchange. So why then is Paine stepping down? At a press conference where he took no questions, Paine read from a prepared statement.
Background on my decision. Nearly 4 years ago, I was involved in a text exchange with a then colleague. At the time, the exchange was the subject of a thorough CA Integrity Unit investigation, throughout which I fully participated in and openly participated in. That investigation and a Cricket Tasmania HR investigation at the same time found that there had been no breach of the Cricket Australia Code of Conduct. Although exonerated, I deeply regretted this incident at the time and still do today. I spoke to my wife and family at the time and am enormously grateful for their forgiveness and support. We thought this incident was behind us and that I could focus entirely on the team, as I've done for the last 3 or 4 years. However, I recently became aware that this private text exchange was going to become public. On reflection, my actions in 2017 do not meet the standard of an Australian cricket captain or the wider community. I'm deeply sorry for the hurt and pain that I've caused to my wife, my family and to the other party. I'm sorry for any damage that this does to the reputation of our sport, and I believe that it is the right decision for me to stand down as captain, effective immediately. I do not want this to become an unwelcome disruption to the team ahead of what is a huge Ashes series. I have loved my role as captain of the Australian cricket team, and it's been the greatest privilege of my sporting life to lead the Australian men's test team. I'm grateful for the support of my teammates and proud of what we've been able to achieve together. To them, I ask for their understanding and forgiveness. To Australian cricket fans, I'm deeply sorry that my past behaviour has impacted our game on the eve of the Ashes. For the disappointment I have caused to fans and the entire cricket community, I apologise. I've been blessed with a wonderful, loving and supportive family, and it breaks my heart to know how much that I've let them down. They have always stood by me, been my most loyal fans, and I'm indebted to them for their support. I will remain a committed member of the Australian cricket team and look forward with anticipation to what is a huge Ashes tour.
So, former Test captain of Australia there, Tim Paine. George, we'll start by discussing the nature of that apology, because coming down to the end, Tim Paine was in tears.
An apology, in politics, politicians often stay clear of giving an apology. There's just something about admitting that you've done wrong and being penitent and apologetic that just doesn't quite sit well with politics. Now, if you transpose politics onto sport and you get sport politics, it's a different kettle of fish, because given that you are at the mercy of people who pick a team and they're at the mercy of their sponsors and do-gooders, they will bring pressure to bear on you to apologize for the sake of their brand, for the sake of the team, and for the sake of good vibes around everything. So you are put in a position where it is commonplace in sport for you to apologize when there's an infraction, where that apology isn't forthcoming in politics. So I say all that to say that Tim Paine's apology would not have met with the approval of some, but many will see it as an important step in the repair for the damage that he would have caused to Australian cricket on the eve of the Ashes.
Tim Paine, this incident occurred in 2017. It was investigated in 2018. He was handed the Test captaincy in 2018. So I feel like the most mind-boggling question for me of everything is, why step down now? Because, I mean, he led the team in 23 tests, you know, they won 11 of those, you know, he was there with the team. And what I think stood out for me too, George, is when he took this captaincy from Steve Smith, it came from another controversy because of the...
Another scandal.
Yeah, right? We know about the Sandpaper Gate scandal. And the first thing that he said in his press conferences was changing the culture, you know, moving away from associating Australian cricket with these things. And I felt as if, you know, he eat his own words because he gives up the captaincy in the same manner. But my question to you, back to the point, why now?
Well, he had to resign.
No?
Yes, because guess what? What is true is that when he got the captaincy, this matter was not yet made known to his Australian bosses at Cricket Australia, because he got the captaincy in March 2018. He had it on an interim basis for a couple of days. Then, soon after, he got interim captaincy, like I think March 24. A few days later, he was made the full-time captain.
Yeah.
So that was March 2018. The issue was not brought to the attention of Cricket Australia until about June 2018. So April, May, June, about 3 months later, and they started their investigation. So it's not as if they appointed him knowing that this thing was over his head. And it's not as if they knew and they tried to cover it up. They said, you know what? Let's subject him to an internal investigation across various levels, Cricket Australia and, of course, the Tasmania Cricket Board, and see what we come up with. They said, nothing to see here. I can tell you that I'm sympathetic to Tim Paine, because guess what? He was having a conversation with an adult woman, which is very important. If it were a child, it would be no understanding from me. Zero tolerance for things like that. But this was an adult woman. They were having that kind of relationship. And he, sensing that she was into him a certain way, pushed the envelope and said what he said in the text, which if anybody's interested, they can find on the net, and the pictures and everything else. I don't believe that what he did was wrong. People, men and women, do that all the time in consensual conversation. Now, she found herself in a spot of bother, and then I read it that she, wanting to ameliorate the situation that she finds herself in, said, oh, well, you know, while this was happening to me and while you say I was doing this, Tim Paine was sending me unsolicited messages and messages that were lewd and blah, 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 blah. Yeah? So I'm just saying that I'm very sympathetic for Tim Paine, but he had to quit because it doesn't look good for Australian cricket, especially, as you mentioned, coming out of the Steve Smith scenario where they lost a captain one way under a scandal.
Yeah.
And this for your captain to be on the field of play with this thing hanging over his head, it's not good. It will affect team morale. It's bad optics. He had to resign.
I know, and with the short time that we have left, I think it's fitting that we talk about who replaces Tim Paine. Or what about a return of Steve Smith?
No.
Do you see that happening?
No.
Because, you know, it is a cause of concern.
No. The people who are the conscience of Cricket Australia would never sanction that, because that too would be bad optics. Because you're effectively saying you moved on from one scandal-addled captain to a captain who has found himself in scandal, and you have people who don't have the taint of scandal around them. You can pick from among them. Pat Cummins is a good leader of men, very popular in the dressing room, an authority figure. Bowler. No question that he should be the captain from now.
All right, George. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. We have more for you.